Thank you very much. Thank you so much, MMA Impact India, for giving me this opportunity to be amongst you this afternoon. I think Karan and Greg before me have set the context in terms of establishing the importance of customer experience for brands and organizations, makes things simpler. Also steals a little bit of my thunder because Karan talked about ROI, Greg talked about the science of marketing. I'm going to talk about the art of creativity, that's the DNA of Adobe, and how it connects to the science of marketing, right? We talked, the previous speakers, they beautifully captured why. I'm going to go deeper and I'm going to talk about how, right? I'm going to take you back the memory lane. I'm going to talk about 25 years of evolution when it comes to customer experience, how the brands kind of evolved. Also, what is next for all the CXOs? What are the discussions that are currently happening in boardrooms when it comes to digital experience? And why is it relevant for you as leaders who are driving change management in your respective organizations? Why some of these innovations are very, very significant for all of you. And then towards the end, I would also talk about how Adobe is evolving as a stack to cater to these dynamic shifts in technology and customer experience. Now go back 25 years. How many of you remember the sound of modem, while we were connecting to the PCs, right? So 25 years ago, internet came in, which gave wings to marketeers. The marketeers could step out from the traditional brick and mortar conventional marketing interventions to taking the brands to digital. That's what started happening from early 2000s. Then came the era of cloud. What it did, it really empowered smaller brands to think about digital because they could afford certain applications which were now available at a very competitive pricing, so they could also go online and take brands online and increase the penetration. Then came social, and that's why all of us have jobs. I would say 90%, as Greg mentioned. The era of performance marketeers, social comes in, and it really democratizes the way the brands and the consumer are talking to each other. Then came predictive AI. It brought in a lot of precision in terms of how the marketing campaigns are being run. But now, what next, right? I would say, before I talk about agentic AI, I will say that 95% of the organizations today are basically in that zone of experimenting with generative AI, right? What does generative AI do? It can help you create at scale, personalize at scale, and ideate at scale, right? To put it in a very simple way. What comes next is agentic AI. Now, how is it different than generative AI? It brings in decision making, and also automates the orchestration, right? What does it mean? I'm going to go deeper and tell you. What does this agent mean, right? It is an intelligent operator that basically understands your goals. It well understands the tasks that you assign to it, and then it actions upon it. Okay? And then it can work with the people or at the back end to do mundane operational work, which was taking a lot of your bandwidth before. How does it do? It works under the spectrum that you create and the kind of autonomous environment you would want that agent to operate in. Now, I'm going to tell you what's happening in the boardrooms. How many of you have heard this line these days that do more in less with a raise of hands, right? A lot of us, right? That's what we keep on hearing. That's where the agentic AI capabilities come in. It brings efficiencies at scale, right? Now, everybody is talking about speed, scale, and everybody is talking about ROI, right? That's where technology comes into play. Now, for all the non-marketeers here, let me just, in 30 seconds tell you about customer experience and how it's relevant for the marketeers today, right? Any customer or prospect would leave a breadcrumb in your digital property for us as brands to understand, right? So that breadcrumb has to be picked up. That's called intelligence, and that's where the data comes in. Okay? Now I have the intelligence, I have the data, I have that signal that a customer and prospect has left to me. Now what do I do with that data, right? I create the content which is relevant for that customer or prospect and deliver in the moment that matter at a time, at a channel that matters to me, right? How many of us are actually opening these marketing emails these days? I don't think anybody is opening. SMS? No, not at all. But sometimes, suddenly, during the IPL match, I get a push notification that, hey, are you hungry? Why don't you order a snack? And then I have to click on that red logo. That's kind of, taking a lot of my credit card, right? So it creates a in-the-moment intervention for me to interact with that brand. Now, so that's the journey, capturing the imagination through the right channel at the right time. How does agentic AI come into picture? It gives you personalization at scale to each and every individual, right? Let me share a small conversation I had with a friend of mine. He's a CMO in a retail organization. He launched a new soft drink, Samaza here. He beta tested it with a single creative. The creative was really awesome. He got all aces on the creative. He launched the campaign in 11 states. What happened? The attribution of the campaign was flat. It failed for him. What he told me exactly is that he was also very closely trying to monitor what the competitor is doing. The competitor's creative was not that great, but the attribution they got was amazing. Why? Because they were creating multiple such creatives dynamically for different people across states. So they were not running 5 or 7 different kind of creatives. They were doing it 1,000 into 5 times of creatives, right? Now with the technology coming in, the amount of time that used to be taken to create one creative, you can create 1,000 such creative with a click of a button. That's the power of AI and Gen AI. So call to action, right? So what's happening these days for marketers? Everybody's evolving from campaigns to conversations, right? Know me as a customer, show me what's relevant for me, and don't treat me as a cohort. Treat me as an individual, right? You can do it for maybe millions, but what about billions, right? And you have to do it at scale. That's when the complexity comes in and the power of a tech stack comes into play. From personas to precision. So gone are the days that, hey, give me an audience of age bracket of this to this, or salary bracket of this to this. I would want to know that who are my target group, who can invest into this brand, who are living in Gurgaon, right? So I would want that pointed insight. Organizations have spent a lot on data warehouses, on customer data platforms, but what next is the speed at which you take decisions. That's when the power of AI comes into picture because you enable the agentic AI to take certain decisions on your behalf. And lastly, as change management, as leaders, gone are the days that you had that control-centric way of managing as leaders, right? It's the era of collaboration, right? And how do you create that collaborative environment in your organizations? By adapting technologies like agentic AI. Now, going deeper in terms of what Adobe is doing, and I'll be very, very modest about it. Adobe handles 50 billion profiles in the digital experience platform. Now, you would say, hey, there are 8 billion people on the planet. Then how come 80 billion profiles? Because people are shifting and toggling through devices, so they're creating multiple cookies. Right? And that's why there's a lot of duplication of data that's residing in each and every organization's database and also on cloud, right? So we do it. Greg also touched about data-driven operating model. That's something that was invented. We are pioneers as Adobe. We are also a big e-commerce shop. Adobe.com does 8 billion worth of business every year, right? So I'm going to tell you that how quickly we have been maintaining our pole position. It's like Michael Schumacher. The statement that his competitors used to make is that Michael Schumacher has really brought a lot of boredom in F1 racing because he's always maintaining the pole position and winning all the time. But okay, I'll be modest about it. We kind of kept the pace high by introducing the AI fabric in all the products that we had. After that, we kind of graduated towards AI assistants. After that, the entire stack is totally new Gen AI powered. But now we have kind of graduated to agentic AI. If anybody who understands AI, it has various layers to it. As far as we are concerned, the data and models, they are totally trained to the data that's available in the organizations, right? The proprietary data, the models get trained in your own environment. All the product stack that's there, it's hot pluggable. It also kind of connects with the applications or the data models that are custom built in your environment. It's all powered by something that we call as the agent orchestrator, right? So there are various agents that are being custom built by organizations and third-party ones. Then how do we kind of integrate with the customer experience stack that we have, right? So open API, hot pluggable. While we developed it, we kept 3 aspects in mind: our customers, our practitioners, and we have been kind of gradually also focusing a lot on the developer ecosystem. These are some of the brands that have collaborated with us over a period of time. They are evolved. If you remember the first slide that I showed you in terms of evolution of customer experience, these are the ones who were quite ahead in their customer experience journey. They had adapted generative AI quite early on. So they are the ones who have already taken that path with us on agentic AI, and that's where we are trying to replicate such success stories in the India market. How is it different than others? We are very responsible, accountable, and transparent while we are investing in AI, right? So that makes us very, very different to our competition. Happy to talk about it in detail. Me and my team would be here for the next 2 days on and off. Dhanya, my colleague, is here. Anybody who wants to know more about how we do it, please reach out to us. Thank you.